Hello everyone, and welcome to Noodle Journey, your destination for detailed and informative reviews of the instant noodle universe. And today I've got something brand new to review from Ramen Bae. After months of them promising a new flavor was coming, here finally is their spicy garlic mix. Before we get started, please remember to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel if you find my reviews helpful. Let me just start this whole spiel by saying I love Ramen Bae. Every time someone on Reddit asks how they can spruce up their noodles, I mention Ramen Bae. And I think I've done it so many times that some people are getting sick of it. But they make good products, and I benefit as a customer if I help them stay in business because I use their products all the time. If this is your first time seeing a Ramen Bae product, they sell these dried mixes that you can cook with your instant noodles to give you a ton of extra toppings. All you do is boil or steep these with your noodles for 3 minutes, and you can add anything from a spoonful to as much as your heart desires. I've already reviewed both their classic seafood and vegetables mix and their veggie mix, and both products are worth your attention if the ingredients in them interest you. So check out those reviews if you're curious. What we have here is their latest product, launched on February 1st, 2024, and I grabbed a pack the second it was available on their site so that I could review it for everyone. This is currently selling for $25.99 US at their website for a 14-ounce bag, and that is in line with their other product pricing. They've also lowered their free shipping threshold so that any of their 3 mixed products ship for free, which I think is a great move. Now, this may not look like a lot for 26 bucks, but as with all dried products, looks can be deceiving because quite a bit of volume is removed in this dehydration or freeze-drying process. And Ramen Bae claims that each bag is around 3 pounds before the drying process. So that's quite a bit of stuff in here. They also claim 20 servings per bag, but I can tell you from personal experience that these last even longer than that with pretty normal usage. They go a very long way for the money. So let's get into the ingredients and how I'm going to conduct this review. And instead of just reading these off, I decided this time I'm going to pour everything into a plate and show you what's in here. Okay, I think this is some of everything, and if it's not, then I will edit it to make it look like it is. This contains a mix of not just dehydrated vegetables, but also you can see dehydrated fish cake, also called Naruto maki. There are roasted garlic slices, bean curd, which is what this little rolled up cylinder is, bok choy, cabbage. Okay, I'm kind of full of shit. I can't tell the difference between bok choy and cabbage, but they're both green. There's little bits of soy beef, you can see right here. Pretty nice size, too. Dehydrated egg, which are these big yellow chunks you see. Shiitake mushroom, carrots, and this bag contains a mixture of red chili flakes and spicy fried garlic and onion. So what's neat, and I think is good planning on Ramen Bae's part, is that the spicy stuff is in a separate bag in here. So you get to control the amount of spice that you're adding to your noodles. Now, myself, I'm probably just going to mix this in with the other ingredients once I'm done filming this, but if you want to keep your meals milder, you've got the option. I kind of think Ramen Bae missed an opportunity to make this vegan because do I really need the egg and fish cakes in a spicy garlic mix? I only mention this right now because there are already a lot of people on Facebook complaining that they can't eat this due to dietary restrictions. And, I mean, they're not wrong. This was an interesting choice. So now comes my dilemma of how to review this. With the combination of beef-flavored soy bits and fish cakes, this seems like a perfect fit for something like Nangshim Shin or Shin Black or Neogori or similar soups. But since all of those are already spicy, that doesn't really let me grade the spice level of this stuff on its own. So I needed to pick something completely mild that will pair well with both fish cakes and imitation beef. And for that reason, I'm reviewing this with the Nissin Rao soy sauce variety, which I reviewed all the way back in episode 39. And yeah, this looks a little different because this is the Japanese packaged version of that, but we can consider this the same basic recipe and flavor as the American version for the purposes of this review. So the king of ramen with the king of ramen toppings. This is just a nice rich soy broth with some seafood and meat umami in it. And there's no additional toppings in this bag, so everything in Ramen Bae's mix should work well in this. So I'm going to go cook this. I'm going to throw a couple scoops of the Ramen Bae in and a nice hearty pinch of the spicy stuff, and I'll be right back to see what we've got. All right, and here we go. This was about 2.5 tablespoons of the mix, plus about half a teaspoon or so of the chili flakes. So this is what you get. It kind of rehydrates really nicely, right? Like the dehydrated egg is pretty big. The bean curd, which is kind of like tofu skin, just unfolds like this. The fish cakes get a little bigger. Everything comes back really nicely. I do have one addendum to what I was saying earlier. That separate bag of red stuff is only the chili flakes. The spicy fried garlic and onion bits are mixed into the bag. I just didn't see them when I poured everything out on the plate. So they're in there. Pretty sure this is one right here. They just look like little fried crunchy puffs. And look at the size of the beef bits. That's pretty great. That's better than I've seen in most noodle packs that come with this stuff. Gotta say though, this is a lot of egg. It feels like a disproportionate amount of egg, and I think that's going to turn some people off. We'll see how it tastes. Now, as far as a smell perspective, not really any different than the regularness and Rao, maybe with a slight bit of fishiness from the fish cakes, but nothing near in the realm as what I detected out of the seafood variety. The seafood variety does impart a pretty fishy vibe to your broth, which is why its use is a little more limited than like the veggie mix. This is definitely on the milder side because the fish cakes are the mildest part of that seafood mix. So let me try a bite of noodles first, and then try everything individually, and then the broth to see how dramatically everything has been changed by using Ramen Bae. As you can see, I got some chili flakes in this spoonful, so this is going to be a good test of the spiciness. All right, this is interesting. I am fairly certain I got everything, so let me get into the spice score first. So like I said earlier, you're in charge of the amount of chili flakes that go into this because they're in a separate bag. But unless you also dig out the fried spicy garlic and onion bits, then you still got a spicy element mixed in with the other stuff, which is kind of a weird choice, but if you're already buying something called spicy garlic, I have to assume you can handle a little bit of spice. Now, from the couple little pieces of fried garlic and onion that I was able to find, they are not particularly spicy on their own. They're pretty mild. But the chili flakes, on the other hand, are where the real spice kicks in. Now, for scale, if you're new to this channel, something like Samyang Buldak ranks at about an 8 out of 10 on my personal spice scale. With that in mind, I'm going to give the fried spicy bits a 1 out of 10, and the dried chili flakes a 4 out of 10. I don't find either one to be overly intimidating, but the chili flakes are definitely approaching what I would consider a medium spice level, especially if you put, half a teaspoon in like I did. Use less, it won't be as bad. I'm just going by what I have in here. So it's somewhere between a light and a medium zing, and it's not lingering in any significant way on my palate. But the spiciness has permeated the flavor of the broth, which is probably what you're after from a spicy mix anyway. So there you go. Now, as far as the flavor and quality of the rest of the ingredients in here, the spicy fried garlic and onion bits are really tasty. If you've ever gone to an Asian grocery store and bought one of those big canisters of fried garlic or fried shallots, it's about what they taste like. They have a nice fry oil flavor to them, strong onion, strong garlic, really good. They're a standout. The fish cakes are nicely rehydrated, mildly sweet, a little bit chewy. Obviously, they contribute to this not being vegetarian friendly, but I think they're a good addition aside from that. Not too fishy at all. My other favorite part of this, besides those fried spicy garlic bits, are the imitation beef bits. They're big. They've got a really awesome beefy texture and flavor, and the flavor is approximated with use of spices and soy sauce, that kind of thing. So they work really well with this broth too. Thankfully, since they're not real beef, they do keep this product ovo-pescatarian friendly. The garlic chips, mushrooms, other veggies, all good, all taste right, all pretty comparable to what exists in the other mixes already. But there's two elephants in the room, and that is the dehydrated egg and the fact that this for some reason does not have scallions. The scallion thing is baffling because scallions go in everything. There is, of course, the spicy fried onion in here, but it's just not the same as a heaping spoonful of dried scallions. So it's a weird choice, but a forgivable one. But the eggs. Let me start by saying I don't know anyone that likes dehydrated egg. Whenever I see someone talk about Nongshim Shin Gold, inevitably somebody brings up the included eggs in the garnish packet and how they're anywhere from indifferent about them to completely grossed out. Now, I like Shin Gold's eggs. I find they have a pretty spot-on sulfurous egg flavor that I like. I do seem to be in the minority there, but I'm an apologist for Shin Gold. I like those eggs. Dehydrated eggs also exist in some of Nissin's cup noodle varieties. And to me, those eggs from Nissin taste like nothing, like little flavorless sponges. The ones in here, and it really breaks my heart to say this, are god-awful. I actually cut the camera a minute ago and rolled a piece of dehydrated egg around in my mouth straight from the bag just to make sure I wasn't tasting things. And these are positively disgusting. They have this weird flavor, almost like they absorbed seafood at some point in the process, whether they got a little bit of flavor off the fish cakes while they were sitting in the bag or something else in the manufacturing of them, but they have this really strange flavor. And they don't taste like eggs at all. They taste like weird, fishy little sponges. Really, really hate to say this, but they're awful. They ruin everything else in here because I love everything else in here. And then here's the other rub. I could just say, oh, well, if you don't like the dehydrated egg bits, pick them out. And I will from now on. But look at how many of them there are in here. All the yellow in here is dehydrated egg. It's not corn, it's egg. Like, that's a lot of picking out. It's a very big chunk of this bag devoted to something that I think tastes like shit. Anyway, the eggs are a huge misfire. I know some people are going to see dried eggs in the ingredients and say hell no just on principle, and they're right to say hell no. You may have a different experience with these if you buy them, but the eggs are lousy. Ramen Bae, you gotta fix this. I'm sorry. Either get rid of the eggs or change where you source them from, because this is a colossal blunder. So I've got to score this. If the eggs were not in here, I would probably score this at a 9 out of 10, primarily because I think it needs scallions. Everything else in here is really good. The eggs being in this, and being as bad as they are, and as plentiful as they are, I mean, I have to put a number score to this, but at the same time, I have to make people aware that they shouldn't spend money on this if they have the same reaction to dehydrated egg that I do. I'm going to call it a 5 out of 10. This would have been such a strong showing, if not for this one major issue. And so there we go. I think Ramen Bae's new spicy garlic mix is a pretty great product in concept with a massive design flaw. If you do like everything in here, as is, go buy it. You'll probably enjoy it. If the eggs or even the fish cakes are a sticking point for you, but you still want a dried mix-in product with spicy garlic flavor for your noodles, then you're going to have to painstakingly pick out the stuff that you don't like, or just buy the Ramen Bae veggie mix and add your own chili flakes of choice. I was just talking about this with someone on Reddit last week, but I feel like Ramen Bae really needs to get to a point where you can just go on their website and create your own custom blend. And I sincerely hope that's somewhere in their roadmap after they get out of the early small business phase they're in. Because I would not have chosen egg for this. I'm going to go out on a limb and say there's probably a very good percentage of their customer base that would not choose egg for this besides me. And I just really wish I could have created this blend from a list of ingredients. Now, real quick, if you do still go ahead and buy the spicy garlic mix, what can you pair this with? For me, the logical choice is spicy Korean noodles. Shin Black, Neogori, Otokijin, Paldo Namja, Buldak Stew, Buldak Jampong, and hell, even some of the Buldak stir fries. But then on top of that, any soy or miso or beef or veggie broth would do just fine with this. So basically anything with a somewhat bold umami flavor that can handle the beefy soy bits without it getting weird. And yes, I'm speaking of that as if you've taken the eggs out already. And like I wouldn't throw this mix into, say, a mild Japanese champon or a cup noodle seafood. Like I don't think it would go with a creamy seafood base very well. And I don't even know that I'd put this in a chicken broth, but you could still try that. I mean, it is reasonably versatile. So if you do buy this, leave me some comments. Let me know if the egg bothers you as much as it bothers me. Let me know what you try this in and how well it works. And let's start up a conversation. So with that, I'll close this review. I will let you know I've got one more goodie from Ramen Bae to review soon, so be on the lookout for that if you're a fan of the company. There are more noodle reviews coming up too, of course, so remember to enable notifications so that you can catch the next episode of Noodle Journey.